and welcome to Sanditon Fancast. We're a fan-created podcast about the masterpiece and BritBox show Sanditon, and we're your hosts.
I am Michelle. I live in the States. You can find me on Twitter and Instagram at Musings.
And I'm Rita. I live in England, and I'm at Annoying Rita on Instagram and Twitter.
Before we begin our discussion, we wanted to say a really huge thank you to all of our listeners for supporting this podcast, with a special shout out for Mrs. Mary Beth, Evalani, LMDB Fan 100, and Maria in Oz for your reviews. It's always a bit nerve-wracking to start a new podcast, but your support has made it a really lovely time. So thank you very much.
But anyway, we have so much to discuss about the final of season 2, so let's get to it. It premiered on PBS on the 24th of April this year, and it was directed by Esther Heighton and written by our Lord and Saviour, Mr. Pride and Prejudice himself, Andrew Davies. And he has a lot to answer for.
Yes!
A lot!
Yes!
Let's begin as usual with a tediously long recap.
This episode began with some girl talk. Charlotte tells Alison and Georgiana that Mr. Colbourne was the victim of Colonel Lennox and not the other way around. This, of course, blows their minds, and Alison finally admits she is a terrible judge of character, and they all swear off soldiers. Not so fast, Alison. She realizes that there is one good soldier in the company, and that she has feelings for him. Now, dear listener, where this epiphany came from is unclear, but we don't have time to question it because the plot is moving on. Captain Fraser arrives at the Parker house and begins to confess his feelings to Alison, but then chickens out at the last moment. Rita, I think that's going to be a theme for this episode.
These boys ain't shit.
He calls Alison a friend and then hands her over a gift. He makes her promise not to open it until she is returned to Willingdon, so we all knew exactly what was in the package, right?
Yeah.
But anyway, Alison is once again dramatically forlorn.
So over at Sanditon House, Dr. Fuchs is visiting his only client this season, Esther. He's keeping busy.
Yeah.
She's clearly a bit worse for wear the morning after the ball. She has a slip of the tongue and refers to baby George as hers, which furthers the whole crazy lady narrative. Downstairs, Dr. Fuchs talks to a concerned Lady Denham and a very schemy-looking Edward. He tells them that he believes Esther's hysteria has passed the point of no return. He thinks that she should be institutionalized. Who saw that coming?
Oh, yeah.
Edward's shocked Pikachu face makes a comeback, delighting me. Okay, so over at Lockhart's studio, Georgiana is having her last portrait sitting. Miss Hankins remarks that Charles has started packing up his materials. I mean, the place looks like a tip to me. Shit everywhere.
Yeah.
Plants everywhere. Who's going to be looking after these plants anyway? He explains that he's leaving today for the continent with the most inspiring muse an artist could wish for. And then Georgiana grins up at him, so, somehow between last night when she was dragged away and this morning, he's managed to speak to her privately and plan their escapes. I mean, the timeline is just a mess. It's wibbly-wobbly again.
Yes.
Timey-wimey.
Mm-hmm.
Anyway, he then announces that the painting is finished and we get to see it. And guys, to my eternal surprise, it's actually a pretty good rendering of Georgiana. And then she and Charles do that hand-touching thing that period dramas do. Oh, it made me swoon. And then sad.
Yes.
And then sad.
Yes. Charlotte arrives for work at Hayrick Hall and bumps into Mr. Colbourne, who asks her to take a walk with him around the grounds. Colbourne begs Charlotte never to speak about the secrets he told her. Too late, dude. She's already told her besties, but she promises not to breathe a word. Sure, Jan. She explains that following her own heartbreak and betrayal, she hid herself away, but she realized she can't do that anymore, and neither should he. He responds by dragging her in, swoon, for a kiss. Wow, yeah, the music swells, we rejoice. But then Mrs. Wheatley interrupts to announce Leo is missing. Fucking Leo? Come on, man! Back at the Parker residence, Sidney's trunk has arrived from Antigua. As they rifle through his belongings, I start to wonder why this was not sent to his wife, but anyway, Tom takes his brother's signet ring and puts it on his pinky, and they produce his playing cards. He said he'd always hoped to beat Sidney at 20 ans, otherwise known as 21. And my apologies for the really awful French.
Tom didn't say it much better.
Arthur pulls out a letter in Sidney's writing.
I fear I am gravely ill and lack the strength to write all that I wish to. But suffice to say that you must bear no guilt for my part in saving you from ruin. If you wish to honor my memory, you must hold fast to your vision. Don't be afraid to keep on taking risks. Or what is life for?
I left my purse behind. I'll only be a moment.
But the most urgent matter I must impress upon you is the need to protect Georgiana from the man who has been seeking to claim her fortune. He is a man quite without scruple. His name is Charles Lockhart.
Dun, dun, dun.
Dun. Ugh, I cringed.
Oh, we then cut to Georgiana and Charles kissing, which we now can enjoy because that's her cousin.
I can't. No. Back at Hayrick Park, everyone is combing the grounds for Leo. Charlotte finds Augusta panicking, and she admits that Leo came to her last night saying she had overheard something about Colonel Lennox, and Leo has gone to speak to him. Over at the camp, Leo shows up at the Colonel's tent and introduces herself as the daughter of Lucy Colbourne and asks if he is her new daddy. Lennox looks shocked and stutters out how old are you? Then he does the maths and realizes that that's his kid. He is the daddy, but does the decent thing and lies to her, telling her that Colbourne is in fact her father. Colbourne then arrives to take her home and tells her that despite what she thought she heard, he is her father and that he's sorry he hasn't been the type of father she deserved. They then hug, and it would be so much cuter if I wasn't kind of bummed out that everyone is lying to her.
Yeah.
Colbourne then asks Charlotte to take Leo home for him, because he wants, one last word with Colonel Lennox, and no good could come from this.
No!
Captain Carter and Captain Fraser watch Charlotte leave with Leo, and Carter asks if they should inquire about Alison's departure, because that bitch still hasn't left. Fraser says, nah, I've said my goodbyes. Captain Carter then accuses him of acting like a coward, and he is correct.
Yes.
Honestly, I'm here for this Captain Carter redemption arc. He is the best.
Yes. At last. Back in the tent, Colbourne asks Lennox for sparing Leo the truth. Lennox shrugs it off and asks him to take better care of her than he did her mother. They then get into a spat about who is more responsible for Lucy's unhappiness, Colbourne for abandoning her, quote unquote, or Lennox for preying on her vulnerabilities. Way to completely erase Lucy's agency, my dudes, Anyway, Lennox then twists the knife by asking Colbourne if he trusts himself not to fail Charlotte as well. Oh, God! Achilles heel. And honestly, it's obvious he doesn't, so prepare for some upcoming nonsense. And a moody horse riding on the beach scene, which is always so hot. Whew.
Hot, but also, whiny male nonsense.
Yes. Mm-hmm. Meanwhile, it's Edward and Clara's wedding day, and before they head off to the church, Lady Denham invites Reverend Hankins over for some tea so she can get him to skip the hymns and the sermon and get straight to the marriage part. Everyone's there, even a dazed-looking Esther. Edward proposes a toast, and as Esther raises her glass, Clara grabs it and smashes it to the ground. Finally!
Clara then explains the whole charade to Esther and produces the bottle of laudanum as proof. Lady Denham loses her shit and calls Clara and Edward despicable. But Esther intervenes, saying that Clara deserves no punishment, that she was as much a victim of Edward as she was. I mean, debatable.
Yeah.
Esther has a look of visible relief as she realizes she isn't in fact crazy.
Yeah.
Just the victim of gaslighting. Across town, Georgiana packs up all her belongings and writes out 5 separate letters preparing to elope with Charles. She seems rather adept at this, but then I remembered she had practiced with Otis, like 4 different times in season 1. Before she can make it out the door, however, she is stopped by the Parker family in an intervention of sorts. Charles is waiting for Georgiana in town when she approaches him.
Are you sure you still wish to marry me? Given that I am the mulatto daughter of a slave who conspired to claim the fortune of a white man who is not even my father. That was your argument, was it not?
Georgiana.
That because you are his nephew, you have a greater claim to my fortune than I.
Cannot get over the fact that they are first cousins. Anyway, he promises her that it wasn't all fake, that the more he got to know her, his feelings for her grow. But she is understandably not having any of this shit anymore, and so he leaves. Bye-bye.
Bye, bitch. Don't let the door hit you where the good Lord split you. Bye. But that is not all the Sidney trunk has left to reveal. Apparently, in the process of building his case against Charles, he learned that Georgiana's mother did not die as she was previously told, and that, and that as recently as 5 years ago, she was still looking to be reunited with her child. She even left a shell bracelet. No! Now, Poldark has left us with a morbid fear of shell bracelets. But this one seems to make Georgiana emotional, and she lets out a sob as she realizes her mother might still be alive somewhere.
Or maybe she also watched those seasons of Poldark and was like, oh, no, not the bracelet of doom.
Not the bracelet. Back at Sanditon House, Lady Denham is pondering what to do about Edward. She proposes a rigorous program of reform where he will submit to hard labor, religious instruction, and whatever daily humiliation she can devise. My God, I loved it! As thrilling a prospect as this sounds, Edward still has his army commission and announces that he would rather die in battle. Bye!
Same.
We can make that happen. Tom and Arthur decide that the only way to conquer a man like the Colonel is to beat him at his own game. So they go to him and propose a wager. If Lennox wins, he will pay off the shopkeeper's debts himself, but if he loses, he will pay what he owes the town, write off Tom's debt, and leave Sanditon, never to return. Lennox likes the sound of that and offers to play them at hazard, but they're like, no. We choose the game this time. So it's less beat him at his own game and more beat him at a completely different game. But
yeah, funny that.
Yeah. They then play Sidney's favorite game of 21, and it's a ballsy game at that. And what do you know? They win and conveniently save Sanditon.
Huzzah! Edward then picks this very unfortunate time to show up at the army's camp. Hasn't been there all season. But anyway. Colonel Lennox flies out of his tent and storms at him that his aunt has informed him of his recent behaviour, and more importantly, that he has no way of paying the expensive commission he bought. So he rips off Edward's epaulets, screams at him that he is a disgrace, and storms off. I was a huge fan of this moment.
Oh my gosh, that was a brilliant flounce. Across
town, Alison is finally leaving for Willingdon.
Yes.
Christ. And saying goodbye to everyone. But before she can go, they all encourage her to open the gift Captain Fraser gave her earlier, because of course, it's a book of poetry Fraser carried in battle. Duh. And in the centre, she finds a pressed wildflower bookmarking First Love by John Clare, aka the poem she received from William in episode 3. But it wasn't from William, was it?
No!
Dun, dun, dun.
No!
She finally realises the obvious, and that it was Fraser who loved her all along. Charlotte's like, girl, come on, this wasn't given to you in friendship. So they hop in the coach and roll on down to the encampment so she can declare her undying love. Only to find the camp completely deserted and the soldiers have all left as they've been posted to India, apparently. I mean, that's not true. They're just like running away in shame.
Yes.
But, yeah.
Clara and Esther head back to her cottage, and she reads all of Babington's letters in relief. Esther tells her that unlike Edward, she believes Clara to be capable of love. She sees it when she looks at George. Clara hopes Esther one day knows that kind of love, but Esther says if it's not meant to be, all the herbs and tinctures in the world cannot help her. She seems to have finally found acceptance. Clara tells her that Lady Denham has offered her a cottage on an estate in Cumbria for her and George, and Esther encourages her to take it. Alison arrives back at the Parker house and finds Captain Fraser waiting in the foyer. Everyone then leaves them alone together, even though they're all, like, leaning in on the doorframe.
They told me your company had left.
They have. I resigned my commission.
What will you do?
I have no idea. I'm from a family of farmers in Ireland. Why should that be so funny?
I was always so determined I would never be a farmer's wife.
Presumptuous! Actually, maybe not, because Fraser immediately proposes, and as everybody's leaning into the doorframe, Alison says, 100,000 times yes! The next morning, Charlotte heads off to work, only to discover the Colbourne family eating breakfast together. Shock of all shocks, Colbourne is actually interacting with the girls. During their chat, we learn that Colbourne's dog from earlier is a girl named Luna. Luna! Luna, puppy Luna.
Baby Luna. She needs a friend.
Yes, she does. They discuss the possibility of getting another dog. Leo wants a mastiff. I love it.
Of course Leo does.
Yes.
Can you imagine? She could ride him.
Yes. But Colbourne ruins the happy mood by asking to speak with Miss Haywood in private in the kind of tone that made me brace for impact. Sigh.
Because we can't have nice things,
no.
Colbourne apologises for allowing his emotions to get the better of him and for taking advantage of his position over her. He tells her that his behaviour has been deeply inappropriate and he feels ashamed. Charlotte starts to freak out, understandably, and asks if that's all she is to him, like a staff member. He then tells her her position has become untenable and offers her 6 months ex gratia, and she then leaves in tears. The dumbass watches her leave the estate out the window, clearly already depressed and regretting it, and Miss Wheatley enters and tells him, yeah, you'll regret this. This isn't a good move, my friend. No. We then cut to Georgiana and Arthur. She once again asks him to marry her, and he once again tells her marriage is not for him. He tells her that the right man is waiting for her somewhere. Potentially in the ocean, ? He apologises for urging her to get to know Charles. He blames himself for what happened. But Georgiana tells him that that's nonsense, and that now he is gone, they can never think of him again.
Uh-huh.
Well, that's the kind of thing people say before characters come back with a vengeance and destroy their lives. Anyway, Georgie says she is going to stay a while in Sanditon for no reason other than it's convenient for season 3, and Arthur tells her she must. After all, she's an honorary Parker now.
Back at Sanditon House, Esther finds George crying in a bassinet by himself with a letter from Clara telling her that she is not meant to be a mother, and she wants Esther to be his mother. This whole plot line was resolved in 30 seconds, people. Anyway, later that day, Mr. Hankins and his sister visit to wish their goodbyes to Lady Babington, who is leaving Sanditon, and she introduces them to George, who she calls her son. She looks thrilled. Happiest face I've ever seen on Esther, ever. But this whole plot is crazy town. Augusta approaches her uncle at the stables and yells at him to go after Charlotte. He tried to tell her she doesn't understand, but actually Augusta does, and she knows that Charlotte brought life back into their miserable house and made her uncle behave like a human for the first time in her life. She is scared that without Charlotte, they will all resort back to how things were before, and it finally seems to click for Colbourne, so he rides on into town. Edward, now completely and utterly fucked, goes back to his aunt and accepts her offer, thinking it marginally better than debtor's prison. Lady Denham chuckles and tells him not to be so sure. She tells him that he will have her undivided attention, and he looks justifiably horrified. Yes.
I'd be worried too. Georgiana and Mary comfort Charlotte on her abrupt firing. Charlotte tells them that her father expects her home now that she has no job, and despite the distance, she promises to still be Georgiana's friend and help her find her mother. Besides, everyone will be invited to Alison's upcoming wedding, so it shan't be long before they see each other again. Foreshadowing, everyone. Foreshadowing. Colbourne is then announced into the room and is left alone to speak to Charlotte. What follows is a clusterfuck.
Yeah.
He immediately fumbles the bag by implying he is here because of Augusta.
Then you are here at Augusta's request, not of your own volition.
No. The house feels your absence already. And I'm here to ask if you...
I'm resolved to leave Sanditon, Mr. Colbourne. You were right in what you said. We let our emotions get the better of us. I mistook what I was feeling for a certain kind of affection. But I realise now I could never feel such tenderness for a man who showed me so little respect. I will miss the girls a great deal. But I cannot be your governess. If that is what you came to ask.
I mean, he's just ignoring the massive opening she left open with him with that last question. You know, just admit you want her to be your wife. But no, he is like, oh, I'm upset, and leaves. Charlotte then cries hysterically.
Yes.
Because that did not go well. That was a mess.
No. Title card, 2 months later. Alison marries Fraser. What is his first name again? Declan. Declan Fraser. Yes. And everyone is in town for the wedding. It's almost exactly mirroring the Esther Babington wedding from the season 1 finale, with everyone throwing confetti as they leave the church. Over at Hayrick Park, the house is packed away as Colbourne and the girls get in the carriage and leave, of course. Back at the wedding reception, everyone is dancing a country jig. Charlotte approaches the Parkers and Georgiana, and they try to convince her to come visit Sanditon again. Apparently, Georgiana has rented out one of the Sea View apartments next season, and she will be hosting a big 21st birthday party. They are then interrupted by Ralph, who asks Charlotte if she has shared the happy news. What news, do you ask?
Ralph and I to be married.
What is going on? What is this? So for those of you not aware, we are re-recording this episode. So when we have this conversation, bear in mind that I already know all these answers. But Michelle, what did you first think when you saw this episode?
My first impression was, what in the hell are we seeing here? I had whiplash. We were going so fast. Yep. From plot point to plot point to plot point to plot point. Trying to tie up 1 billion of them so that they could leave a few dangling to carry us forward to season 3. But, God, it was nightmarish.
So my first impressions were not very positive. And last week I was like, I've come around, watching it on the second time. I thought it was quite good. And now, then I rewatched it last night and I was just struck by how much I still didn't like it. I was like re-traumatized by all the Charles and Georgiana things. I was just like, oh God. And I think fundamentally these storylines were quite clumsily and abruptly finished. I think they needed a couple more episodes. Season 1 had 8 episodes. I think if they had had that many episodes for season 2, they could have completed these storylines in a way that they deserved. And I think a lot of this stuff just got rushed. Yeah. I mean, particularly the Esther, Clara giving up the baby thing, which was handled in... The little note she left her was like 20 seconds tops. Like, just, you can have the baby now. Boom. Cut to the next scene. Yeah.
I mean, they had too many things that they were trying to do in order to be able to have them get neatly tied up in a way that was satisfactory. I mean, when you think about it, we went from Esther thinking that she was, about to be institutionalized and druggily staring at butterflies and saying, it would be better if it was a funeral, blah, 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 to her being ecstatic over being George's mom in the space of what felt like a day.
And about maybe 10, 15 minutes of screen time from like that extreme. Like, it just didn't.
No, it didn't work.
As if it might work over like a longer, like a 2-episode arc. Yeah. But over like the course of 10 minutes, like I cannot emotionally handle all those ups and downs.
No, I mean...
It just makes you feel like really muddled and confused. I felt really like strange after I finished the first time. Like, I didn't know what I was feeling. I was both like very happy for some things and very upset about other things. And just like, I was like, this is too much.
Yes. Too many notes. Too many notes. Oh my God.
I think one of the better developed storylines though was the Hayborn clusterfuck.
Yeah. Yeah.
I felt like Colbourne's past was sufficiently set up with Lennox that when he said that line about like, are you sure you can make her happy? You knew.
Yeah, you knew exactly. Yeah, you knew that it was like, shit, man. Why did you have to go back and have a conversation with the man? Because if that hadn't happened, he would have gone back and they would have been all dreamy happy and everything would have been awesome. But no, as we said, there was nothing good that could come from him having another couple minutes with Lennox.
It's like all his bullshit past and his self-imploding and his doubts and his like self-recrimination all came back, and it was like, we don't listen to Charlotte when she says, put the past in the past, and he's like, no, I cannot. I must be moody and sad forever. It is my destiny.
Oh my God. Yeah, that was That was upsetting. That was really upsetting. But I think another thing that was as upsetting, I would say as upsetting, was the Charles reveal.
I mean, more upsetting if you ask me, because,
ew!
Like, at least with the Charlotte Hayborn situation, there was set up. I felt like this was really abrupt.
Oh, completely out of left field. I mean, and it was one of those things where it was just like, are you kidding me? No, it can't be him. And then
I started thinking about that, like I just did the third watch last night, and I was like, when she got the details about the court case, why would they not mention his name?
Seriously.
That doesn't make any sense. When you get the details of the court case, the first thing you would put is who was suing you. Like,
yeah.
Okay, so I'm supposed to believe that she just didn't know who he was. Okay, fine, okay.
Giant plot hole. Drive a truck through.
Lockhart, the last name would be connected to her in some way.
Yeah.
Like, she doesn't have any idea, like...
Unless he's changed it because, he is an autiste.
Just... It's annoying. And I felt like it undid a lot of the progress Georgiana's character made this season. And we said in the previous podcast, like, no matter how this storyline ends, it did her character a lot of good, and she grew in confidence, and she sort of discovered herself and her identity as a black woman. And then this comes along and it sort of undoes all of that, because it's like, is she gonna go back to being guarded and like miserable again? Because I don't want that.
No.
I liked the person that she was around him, and all of that feels like a complete joke now because he was just after her money.
Yeah.
And it's like, okay, yeah, you got a good plot twist. And it was you got a shock value out of it, but at the end of the day, does this serve the character, and where does it put them in season 3? And if it's back at square one as the same place she was at the beginning of the season, I don't see the point of doing it. And it's just it upsets me on so many different levels, because it feels both manipulative as a viewer, but also just like terrible for the character who I adore. I know what the best things to happen to her, and they've just fucked it.
Yeah.
And I don't like this. Not to mention, Michelle, it's the second incest plot. For no reason. We have so much incest in the show.
Oh God, please, no more. No more. I wonder if we're going to wind up seeing him again.
Well, I don't want him back because they're cousins, and I don't want to be disgusted anymore.
No.
I don't want him back. But I also think I believed him when he said that he loved her.
I did too. But it's like, dude, there are so many, there are ways that you can wind up being redeemed in a situation like this, but you got the incest card, and that pretty much says nope.
Because I love a gold digger situation. Cards on the table. Love a gold digger with a heart of gold.
Yes.
When they end up falling in love with their target, one of my favorite tropes. And I was like, oh, okay, but when this was revealed, I wasn't, like, disappointed that he was manipulating her, which is really wrong of me, but come on. I was more upset that he was her cousin. I was like, that's a bridge too far for me.
Yeah.
I can't.
Yeah, you could work with the first, but the second pretty much is it's not even pretty much. It is a shutdown. It is a shutdown.
Like, we're not taking it.
No.
And, if she does end up meeting a third man on this show, can we trust him?
Seriously.
I've been banned too many times. Now I'm sort of understanding why people ship her with Arthur, because it's just like, oh, just run away.
Seriously. I mean, I'm at the point where it's like, okay, at least you know that Arthur loves you.
Yeah.
He adores you. And, I mean... But we have to respect Arthur's feelings. That
Arthur is not here for it.
Marriage is not his thing.
How did you feel about the mother reveal? It was the least shocking reveal of all time.
Yeah, seriously. I was fine with it. I mean, I like the idea that, she still has the opportunity to have a family connection, since, she is, basically alone. She may be an honorary Parker, but, it would be nice for her to be able to be reconnected with her mom, and, maybe get something other than a shell bracelet. But, and I know that we talked about this when we did the recording last week. And I
shared my great fear with you.
Yes.
Now you have.
Yeah, the great fear that they're going to wind up setting up Colbourne's housekeeper,
Mrs. Wheatley,
as the mother. Because, convenient black woman character.
Appropriate age.
Yeah.
Middle-aged black lady. She's the mom.
Yeah. And I swear to God, if they attempt to do that, I'm gonna have to throw something at the television.
I will just never get over that. I think that would be like the thing that, if it happens, admittedly, it might not happen. This is just like my worst fears playing out.
Yeah, I may have to just throw the remote in the air and walk away and just say, I'm done. I'm done with this show. I can't take any more of it.
Another thing I think is like, what if they end up sort of replacing Georgiana's romantic life with this relationship with her mother?
Yeah.
Not to say, like, the relationship with her mother isn't important, but I do, like, in tales like this, it's often, like, the black woman can never get a happy romantic ending. It's always, like, she has to learn about her self-identity first, or, like, truly become herself. And while I appreciate those story points, why can't she also have a romantic life?
Thank you. Yeah, that would be extremely upsetting. For her not to be able to find love after 2 seasons of disappointment and heartbreak, for her to put those on the shelf while she and her mom spend time getting to know you,
getting to
know all about you.
It's a very problematic film.
Yeah. Oh God, let's not go down that road.
Colonize the locals. Yeah, and also, like, it was part of me was like low-key annoyed because I was like, oh, okay, so I get to watch Esther get married and Alison get married and all the other minor characters get married. I know Charlotte's love life is going to be a mess until the final episode.
Yeah.
But, like, Georgiana, she has to be miserable while all these little white girls get to be happy. It's not making me feel happy.
It's not fair. No.
It's not. It's,
No. Okay.
One thing I did enjoy, which was the way they incorporated Sidney's memory into the season.
Yes. Man, they got that one. This was a masterclass in how to address, the disappearance of main character. Bridgerton, take notes. Hello?
No. Can you imagine if they killed off Simon?
Oh, yeah. Well, yeah. True enough. But, I mean, the graceful way that they addressed Sidney's absence throughout the season has really been great writing. So, massive kudos to Andrew Davies and the rest of the gang for how they managed to navigate what was a firestorm within the fandom, and make it
still is
not yet, and make it come to a resolution that I found to be quite satisfactory, with the exception of that damn portrait. But
That portrait was in season 1, okay? It was legacy. Speaking of, I think, like, Sidney's legacy on the show is Sanditon in a way.
Yeah.
Because he's given Tom the green light of saying, like, go out and pursue this dream that you have for Sanditon. And I think that's really important because it sort of gives Tom the forgiveness that he really needed after the previous episode where he was absolutely losing his shit because he just found out about that Eliza situation somehow. And I found the scene where he's reading that letter really moving, and I really loved the performance there because he was like catching his voice was catching as he was reading out the letter, and I just found it very powerful. I love the way that they've incorporated Sidney without making it too over the top. Like it's just like little things like his cards or his pinky ring. I thought that was moving. And I like that, you know, they've lost a character, but it's been incorporated into the storylines and the characterization really well. Like, I don't think Charlotte and Colbourne would work as well had they not had the Sidney arc in season 1. Like, I don't think... Like, season 1 Charlotte would not be interested in Colbourne. Like,
no.
That Sidney's death has changed her and made her a perfect match for Colbourne, and I feel like they've really bonded over their shared loss. And I like that she mentioned that this episode because I've been wondering when she would bring up, hey,
hey, you're not the only one that has too. Yeah, you're not the only one who has had their heart ripped out and stomped on. So, you know, mine has band-aids too.
And when she offers him advice, it's not coming from a place of complete naivety. She's like, I've been through it. We should maybe try and get over that Colbourne instead of moping in it forever. Question mark.
Since it's clear that, you know, we obviously enjoy kissing the hell out of each other. I mean,
so please stop bringing up your dead wife.
Seriously.
I think of all the things that they had to tackle this season, this has been the best for me.
Yes, me too.
Yeah.
Me too. Very well done. So, do you think that Charlotte's engagement is going to mimic Sidney's?
Yes. So, like, when she got announced her engagement, my first reaction was, what? And then my second one was like, oh, parallel time.
Yes. Oh my gosh. You know, now that you mention it, you know, of course, it's a perfect opportunity to have a parallel for Sidney's engagement and marriage. You know, I think that, you know, poor Charlotte, she's, as she says in the episode, enough. You know, it's like she's like said, okay, I'm done with this. I'm just gonna...
This hasn't been fun.
Yeah.
No.
I'm just gonna go back home and do the inevitable, which was marry Ralph and live on a farm and forget about the whole idea of being in love with someone and you know, maybe I'll come to love Ralph.
Yeah.
But, you know, it was like, you know, screw it. I'm done.
I also think she's maybe made this decision with her family in mind because, like they said earlier in the season, the harvests failed. They have 11 kids. She's, to quote the Pride and Prejudice movie, she has become a burden for her family. 27 years old. I always laugh, but it's actually a tragic speech.
Yeah, it is.
So she's probably decided, you know what, it's probably better for my family if I just marry this Ralph guy. Ralph, by the way, looks very cute.
He's very cute.
There's such hating ass Ralph people. Like, he's fine.
I mean, you know, for being kind of stuck out in the country in farming land, you know, if this is your option, definitely consider it.
Go for it, girl.
Yeah.
Do it. Ralph, I'm never going to be a Ralph hater.
Nope. I mean, unless he
Obviously,
turns out...
she shouldn't marry him.
Yeah, I mean, unless he turns out to be a dick. But, you know, at this moment...
Seems fine.
Yeah.
He was really happy. He was like, we're engaged.
Mm-hmm.
Yay.
He seems... he's very excited, and, you know, it's like, what could possibly go wrong?
Everything is going to go. We will find out in season 3. Speaking of, are you excited for season 3, or was this just such a mess that you're like, no?
I need a break after this episode. You know, there was just too much going on. You know, I think that obviously I am interested in seeing where the storyline with Georgiana and the quest for her mom, I'm interested in where that's going to go. Hopefully not over to Colbourne's house. And, you know, I am interested in seeing how they're going to resolve the Hayborn situation. Only because obviously I need resolution, damn it. But that's pretty much it. You know, I don't care anything about Edward. I know you think he's adorable. Because
I'm
bad
just
boy.
very sexually attracted to the actor, and I think that is reasonable. You can go on his Instagram. He is a straight hottie, and he's quite funny.
But I have absolutely no interest in ever seeing Edward again.
Tough luck.
Damn it!
I mean, I don't know that I'm excited for it. I'm more excited about watching Lady Denham punish him. Like, that would be funny to me.
Yeah. Yeah. But, you know, after a while, it's gonna get to be a little old. And, you know, quite frankly, I'm wondering if they're gonna kill her off this season in season 3.
Don't you dare speak it into existence. I have, like, a lot of hope for season 3, I guess. And, that sounds crazy after I just laid into this episode. But I think having some of the storylines end and knowing that, say, like, Esther and Clara probably won't be back, and, you know, Alison and Fraser are probably going to be off doing the farming thing far, far away from here. There's less storylines. And I think a condensed focus would be so much better for this show because it means they can actually handle everything properly. Having said that, I am now scared they're going to introduce more shit. There are things that I would like to see, though. Like, I would like to see Augusta, like, as a part of society,
yes,
like, out and about. And I would like to see more Ralph, because I want to know what the hell his deal is.
I think we're going to get that. I think we're going to get that wish.
Am I going to become, like, a Ralph stan? I feel like it's in the air.
I think it's definitely a possibility.
I'm going to be like, Ralph, go find another girl. You don't deserve to be in a love triangle.
Her heart was never yours to begin with.
Is Ralph going to be, like, the opposite of Eliza and, like, not a bitch? So he's going to be, like, the nicest person ever.
Seriously. And it'll be like...
I would love that, because I think, like, with that particular love triangle, it was so easy to be like, well, Eliza's awful. Like, just break her heart and be with Charlotte. Like, if there's actual conflict in, like, hey, you could hurt a completely innocent person if you break off this engagement, there would be more stakes.
Mm-hmm.
Anyway, I'm getting too caught up in this Ralph nonsense. What I really want to say, I am interested in Georgiana's relationship with her mother, but I'm also very, very scared.
Yeah. Yeah, that is going to be a worry, and something that we're going to have to sit and wait patiently until next year.
Okay, we haven't discussed some of the following storylines, so, like, quickly. Colbourne, Lennox, who's your daddy situation? What did you think of it?
I loved the fact that Leo marched into that camp and confronted Lennox. I thought that was just brilliant because Leo is such a fierce little girl. And, you know, she was just like, all right, straight up, I'm going to ask you.
Got a problem. Unlike her not father, she's very good at confrontations, and
Yes.
She'll just ask you.
Like, yo, dude, you my daddy? And it's like, yeah, just look him in the face, look at the eyes, and yeah.
I also loved what this did for Lennox's character as well, because in the previous episodes he was becoming very snidely Whiplash.
Yes.
Which was our favourite nickname for George Willugan. Very, very similar guys in this respect. But he was definitely much more human.
Yeah.
This episode, I loved the way that he was able to go, oh shit, that's my daughter, what do I do? And then, like, he decided he needed to do what was best for Leo and not what would hurt Colbourne the most.
Yeah.
So I did appreciate that. And I like that he was holding the little soldier she brought into the tent, like, in his last scene. Like,
yeah.
And I do think that from his point of view, he would have seen Colbourne as the villain in that scenario because he met this woman that he cared for and she might have felt abandoned, and that's how, like, he only got her point of view. He never got to see what Colbourne was going through in his worry. So from his perspective, it would have seemed that way to him. And I like that the show took a nuanced approach and didn't just make him into the devil.
Right.
Because it was getting too much.
Right. They gave him a little more...
invalidate Colbourne's point of view. I still think, like, Colbourne's ultimately right, but, like, the situation was much more nuanced.
Yeah.
I think it's probably, like, somewhere in the middle where, like, he definitely did the wrong thing, but ultimately Colbourne did leave his wife alone. Like,
yeah.
Shit happens.
So, I mean, yeah, I totally agree. You know, of course, there's a part of me that thinks, you know, Lennox, you know, doesn't want to be hampered with a child. And so...
What's he going to do? Take it around the country and then live in his tent?
Well, given Leo's fascination with the whole red coat soldiering thing...
That would make such a cute book, right? Like, with the little girl traveling around with her father.
I think she would be down for it, but you know, it in the end, it doesn't make any sense, and so
it wouldn't be very good for her.
No. I mean, I am going to prefer to see this as a little tiny moment of you know, doing the right thing for Lennox to get him out of the pure evil.
Yeah.
Pure evil camp.
He did turn on Edward this episode in a very satisfying way. So there was, like, moments where he was a complete piece of shit, like, around Tom. And then there were also moments where you were like, actually, he's got a point.
Right.
You do suck, Edward.
Oh, God, Edward. Alison and Fraser. Hey, did that romance seem to come out of complete left field?
I mean, okay. This is where I get to tell my concussion story. So the morning before I watched this, I got, like, a second grade concussion, so it wasn't that serious, but my head did hurt and it was making me kind of confused and, like, it was hard to concentrate. So when I got to that scene in the episode, and bear in mind it's, like, the first scene of the episode, so I shouldn't have been that confused. I was like, wait, what did I miss? Like, I felt like I'd missed something, like, I wasn't, like, understanding what was going on. And then I rewatched it later and realised, no, I didn't miss anything. It really was just that random.
Yeah.
I was very disappointed.
Yeah, I mean, they could have done something to set it up so that it would have been less of a surprise. I mean, I think we've all maybe been rooting for this to happen, along the way. But, the fact that, she went from, 1,000 times yesing Carter in the middle of lake, dumb, not that long ago. And now she is all misty-eyed over Fraser.
I think what they could have done was had her realise while they were dancing together in the previous episode
yes.
that he's got his hand on her. Like, that makes more sense, because that's when Captain Carter realised it. So why couldn't she have realised it? Like, to have her be the last person to realise is kind of infantilising in the first place.
Yeah.
But then to have it happen, and then, like, the same day, she gets proposed to with, like, she realised she liked him, like, maybe 3 or 4 hours before.
Right.
And now she's gonna become a farmer's wife.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And live with him forever. Like, that doesn't make any sense to me.
Yeah, that was pretty damn clumsy. It would have been lovely to have one of those, while they're dancing moments, that you and I love so much.
Love. See Emma 2020.
Yes. But yeah, no, it was not to be. And
I think that moment is also like one of my favorite stages of any romance as well. I don't know about you, but like the realization.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely.
To skip over it is disappointing.
Yeah. Yeah.
You missed the best bit.
Oh. But, hooray, she did wind up with, the battle-scarred veteran. I know that there are a lot of people that have issues with Sense and Sensibility and, the romance between Brandon and Marianne Dashwood, that unfolds because, they all think that he's like 80 for some reason, which is
35-year-old.
Yeah. And
I'm not crying.
It just always annoys the hell out of me that they all think that he's like this old decrepit
if you
dude.
Met like a 35-year-old dude that was in love with a teenager, you'd be like, oh, this is weird. Like, it's weird.
Yeah, it's ironic that I'm saying this when I just finished watching the Surviving R. Kelly documentary, which has had my skin crawling for 2 days. But I think that stepping away from that, it's clear that Fraser is not as old as Brandon, perhaps. And he just happens to have a scar in his face, which Mama like.
So I remember he was at war, like 10 years ago, which would make him at least late 20s. Like,
and that's believable.
Yeah, and like the thing I always say about age differences is that when women come of age in the Regency period, they pretty much reach 18 and then they sort of stagnate in terms of maturity until they get married. So even at like 25, Alison would probably have the same experience and like life experience and knowledge. So it's like, it's not really the same situation as it would be today.
Yeah.
Because
very true.
They ain't going out dating people and, like, getting to know themselves better. They're sheltered as fuck, so...
Yeah, that's very true.
One of the most positive things about this storyline for me, as annoyed as I was at how badly it was concluded, was that Captain Carter ended up being the person that gave Fraser his come-to-Jesus moment. And he was like...
Yo, dude!
I know you like her. Can you just say something finally? Because he really needed
do something. Yeah, that was awesome. I was glad that he had his redemption moment on the show. But oh God,
I hope he's out there breaking more hearts because
he is.
I hope he has a good time. Bless
Cute
him.
little puppy.
As long as like nobody falls mindlessly in love with him, it's fine.
Yeah. He's good for a flirt,
right?
Yeah. Okay, Clara and Esther.
Oh, oof! The storyline.
we've talked a little bit about kind of how that wound up concluding. I, quite frankly, really loved how Esther, stood up for Clara and said, she's just as much a victim as I am. Because, even though we have said that Clara's a sociopath, and
she is.
Yeah, she is.
She's a sociopath with a heart of gold, okay?
It's clear that, she is a changed person. Having gone through what she's gone through. And I was so glad that she was finally the person that just said, no. Said, nope, we done.
Not today.
Not on my watch. I am glad that the two of them were able to have a good close for their relationship and to send them both off the show in a positive way.
Yeah, I think when you think about the season as a whole, like that relationship and the way that it's grown has been one of the most positive aspects for me. And I think that scene where Esther's encouraging her to, go to Cumbria and have a cottage is like so beautiful.
Yeah.
Their relationship is totally believable, and I definitely think that the satisfaction of Clara being the one to stop what they're doing and her throwing that glass, like that was a really good scene. What I have problems with is the way they handled her giving up her child, because
yes,
though it felt inevitable in the fact that when she first appeared, we were both like, oh, she's going to give Esther her baby. Like, that's obviously going to happen.
Problem solved, yes.
The way they got there was so convoluted and messy. I didn't really like that it was done in, 20 seconds where she just, left the baby and, ran away, and they didn't, they should have had a conversation about it. That would have been better. And I don't like that it sort of reinforces this idea that some women deserve to be mothers and some are incapable of it.
Yeah.
That I don't believe that, and I find it uncomfortable that the show is sort of advocating for that, because I think Clara looked like quite a good mother when she got over her postpartum depression. She loved that child, and she could have provided quite a comfortable life for him. It's not like she would have been terrible for him. By having her make that decision, while I understood Clara's internal logic, it's like the show was validating that opinion rather than challenging it, which is not great.
Yeah. Agree. Totally.
And don't you think Esther should have, at least talked to her fucking husband about adopting a baby?
Yeah, because it's not like she's been, in Sanditon long enough for her to gestate a child, and she just miscarried, so it'd be like, okay, not yours. Where'd you find it? And
I mean, even if she does explain it, do you think he's gonna want Edward's bastard child that he had with Clara, the crazy burns herself girl?
Oh, God.
If you're Babington, hearing that story back, you're going to be like, what the fuck have you done, Esther?
Oh, God. I hadn't thought of that. Very, very good point.
I know you're not very interested in Edward and Lady Denham, but we have to discuss.
Do we?
I personally loved this dynamic. It was hilarious as hell.
Oh,
I think Lady Denham is the only woman in that family who has any power over Edward. She's always the one to call the shots.
Yes.
And so I'm interested in that whole vibe. It might not be the thing I'm most looking forward to in season 3, but if she can make him pay for his crimes, I'll be very happy.
Yes. Yes.
And she usually uses her powers for evil, so it would be nice for it to be let's focus less on fucking with Georgiana and more on fucking with Edward, please.
Yes. No, I mean, both of the scenes with he and Lady Denham were some of my favorites. I mean, I love the shot of him sitting across the room in the middle of that couch while she is just like, what am I going to do with you?
And it's funny because they mirror that scene later on when he comes back.
Yes.
She's sitting down and she's now in the position of power and he's approaching her. Mm-hmm. I was like, oh, the directing is fabulous in this show.
That was really entertaining. And I love the way Edward delivered the "I would rather die in battle" line. I would rather die in battle.
He's sort of so accidentally funny in his evilness.
Yeah.
So, do you think Edward is capable of reforming, and do you think the show is going there?
It's going to take a hell of a lot for him to have a full redemption. And, granted, there are 6 episodes, but there's also a bunch of other stuff that needs to happen in those episodes. And
it just turns into the Edward Denham show.
Yeah.
Sanditon who? We're just in this room with Edward.
So, I don't think so. I think that there's probably going to be some nefarious stuff going on. And, I've already voiced one of my concerns is that, they're going to wind up killing off Lady Denham in season 3, and there will be more shenanigans and plotting and scheming around her passing.
Her will.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
But then, wouldn't they have to bring back...
They would have to bring back Esther.
Clara and Esther, and
And they can't do that.
And they can't do that. So,
I think she's safe. Woo!
The only other thing I can think of is, why would they keep him on the show if they're not going to have his character go through some kind of arc and maybe potentially reform? Because I think otherwise you're just keeping him around to maybe... he's done his worst.
Uh-huh.
He hit rock bottom in drugging Esther. I don't know that I would buy a reform from him. I think he is evil. And I'm usually very into the power of change and whatever, but I worry about this guy.
Mm-hmm.
I hope he never gets near another young lady again because I do not trust him.
No.
And I'm also worried about how he's going to be around Miss Hankins because she's clearly in love with him. Miss Hankins is obsessed. He needs to stay away from her.
Mm-hmm. I mean, that dance kind of pretty much hooked her in, so...
Yeah.
Oh.
She's always asking about him,
Oh, Miss Hankins, anybody but him. Anybody but him. You in danger, girl.
Favorite scenes?
Obviously the scene where Colbourne and Charlotte are walking around the property, and he swoops her in for that second kiss that would have blown my wig off. I think that was absolutely lovely. But I'm a sucker for a man in Regency where walking around a field.
You got a lot of him walking around moodily,
yeah.
So this must have been.
Oh yeah, it was. This was a sight for sore eyes. There were lots of swoony sighs, but yeah, I think that was one of my favorite scenes and one of my favorite interactions with him until Leo disappears.
Oh, damn it, Leo. Leo's always such a cockblock. I also love anytime they're underneath a tree, yes. I'm instantly call back to Jane Eyre. So
yeah.
You better kiss her.
Yeah. How about you?
I guess my favourite scenes were when everyone's eavesdropping
yes.
on the proposal. That was really cute.
That was so sweet.
It was the whole gang's here and we're going to celebrate you getting engaged.
Oh, so sweet.
And nobody was more excited than Arthur.
Yes.
He's
such a romantic.
I know.
I love Arthur so much. Oh. My gosh.
Not such a great matchmaker, though. Bless him.
Bless his little heart. Yeah. So you need to just walk away from that role, my son. I think we've also talked about some of, favorite scenes, like the scenes with Edward and Lady Denham. I enjoy watching the two of them spar anytime. I thought that the scene where, before the whole ruination of the Georgiana Charles storyline, when he shows them the portrait, and the portrait was absolutely beautiful. It was beautiful.
I mean, the great irony of this is that this was one of my favourite scenes throughout the whole show, basically, because I thought that was so beautiful. It was so powerful, the way he drew her, like with her hair loose, and then like with the background of Antigua.
Yes.
It was just great, and you could see like he was really nervous to show them it. Like it was important to him, and then Georgiana was so moved, and then they held hands, and he screamed.
It was just absolutely wonderful, and I was enjoying it. I was like, oh yes, this is the perfect way to send them off. Oh good, oh good, oh good.
No, we cannot have anything nice.
No.
It's like such a genuinely moving thing to watch somebody paint someone like that, and like have like that was a moment where she was like, oh, I feel seen for who I am by this man that I love, and we're going to run away and be together, and then we can't have that. No. they're fucking cousins, Michelle. It's tainted.
Oh God. So,
and then they'd like try and convince me that he was a cad who did not care for her. Blah blah blah. Okay, then why did he draw such a nice portrait,
Seriously.
Michelle? Why did that happen? I feel so gaslit. Okay,
they lifted us up only to just drop us.
Drop us down.
Basically, pull the rug out from under us.
Speaking of least favourite scenes, definitely the Charles reveal.
Yeah, that was horrifying. So bad. I did literally scream.
It wasn't even that it happened. It was like the way they wrote the scene was so lame.
Yeah.
With like the reveal that the whole Parker family are standing in the background, standing like they're superheroes. Like, well, we really love her. Like, I was just like, oh, this is so cheesy.
Oh God, make it stop. Yeah, it was just. Oh God, it was bad.
It was lame. It was abrupt. And then also it happened like 10-15 minutes into the episode, and then the rest of the episode, Georgiana was acting as if that had not happened to her.
She was just like, okay, great. I'm fine.
You would expect more consequences for such a gigantic thing to happen to her. Like, she's just had her heart broken again.
Yes.
She was just blasé, running around. Alison, maybe you should open your package. Like, she should be crying in her bedroom.
It's like, girl, you just got your heart broken. What the hell?
It doesn't make any sense. And then she also comforts Charlotte. Like, nobody comforts Georgiana. It's just so.
Yeah.
It doesn't make any sense. I hate it.
Yeah, that was probably my least favorite.
And I also didn't like the implication that everyone in Sanditon is just really lovely and everyone loves Georgiana and he was horrible for making her turn against them. It's like she has had to deal with a lot of real racist bullshit in that town. Like, not everyone is the Parkers.
Mm-hmm.
He's right to make her question if she wants to, like, satisfy this society of hypocrites.
Yeah.
He had points were made, Michelle.
Honestly, it just breaks my heart that there's no way for there to be any kind of resolution between the two of them because cousins.
Because cousins. If they were not cousins, I could be like, well, maybe they could work this.
Yeah, maybe they could work it out. Seriously. But no, cousins.
But cousins.
And first cousins.
No, it's It's not like he's a distant cousin.
No, if he was like a, like second cousin once removed or, however the hell that goes, all right. But,
But her father's his uncle, and they have the same grandparents. That is disgusting.
No. Why did they have to make them cousins?
Anyway.
Yeah.
We're so upset, but we have to move on.
And we have to also admit that while we were seriously standing this ship, a week ago, we acknowledge that, yes, this ship has sunk. And sunk.
It's dead.
Yeah, it is in the Marianas Trench. It's so deep. It cannot be redeemed.
Yeah, R.I.P. this ship.
Yes.
I mean, it was fun while it lasted, but man, did it hurt when it sank.
Oh, my God.
I feel like I'm mourning it more than Georgiana is, and that's also, fucking crazy.
Yeah.
She locked herself in her room and cried for weeks over Otis. Admittedly, she was also kidnapped, so that was slightly worse.
Oh, God. Ugh.
But she was fine, and I'm not,
No.
so make that make sense.
No.
Oh.
We need help. Thank you.
Please help us. We need a 12-step program.
Yes.
Favorite costumes?
Oh, man. Well, Lady D is always turned out. I think that the dress that Clara was wearing, I thought that was really pretty.
For her not wedding.
Yeah, for her not wedding. Love that. Of course, the costume that Colbourne was wearing, because hotness.
Oh. God,
wow.
Every time he walked on screen, I was like, whoa.
Yeah. It's like, boy, you need to prepare somebody before you spring out of the screen like that.
He was in a mostly black palette for this episode, which should have warned us. He was in mourning for his relationship. I don't know who their seamstress is on this show, but 10 out of 10.
Yes.
Fantastic.
Well done.
Thank you for your work.
Well done.
Thank you. I'll be thinking about those scenes a lot. And then, when he was riding the horse and his hair would flop over, I was just like, oh!
You are a sucker for the floppy hair.
It's like he's usually so straight-laced that when the hair flops, I'm like, oh my God, he's feeling emotions.
Oh gosh. Yeah, I mean, I am, one of the things that I always loved about Poldark were the horse riding scenes, and especially the ones on the beach. Yeah, they were just so awesome. And so, we got everything I could have ever asked for a horse riding scene on the beach in this episode.
To be honest, I think Colbourne went full Ross Poldark because he was riding a horse on the beach and also emotionally reticent, unable to express his feelings to his love interest, and feeling broody for no reason, just and long lost love in a triangle with a man. That was basically George Willuggan.
Oh my God! Yes.
It's Poldark again. I think that's why we feel so disappointed.
Oh my gosh!
No, we're watching Poldark again.
Oh my gosh! Yeah, that was pretty awesome. So well done, seamstresses. I thought that the Parkers looked especially well put together in the episode, especially when, the three of them were standing together. It was like, oh, yes,
They did that a lot this episode.
Yeah.
They were like, did you coordinate your outfits?
Yeah, you guys are working it today, and well done. So, honestly, the costumes for this series have really been fantastic. Oh, and we also have the wonderful bonnet that Georgiana was wearing when she sent Charles on his merry way. The costume department for this show is just 10 out of 10.
My favourite looks were definitely Esther's like bronzy puff sleeve number that she was wearing when she was being told she wasn't crazy, because I was like, oh, all the lace detailing was giving me Edwardian housewife, and that was definitely the vibe of the laudanum.
Yes.
The laudanum victim. That was really fantastic.
Mm-hmm.
I also noticed that Mrs. Wheatley who's been previously in all black, had that really lovely bright purple dress.
That was lovely.
She was like finally out of mourning. She was like, oh.
It's like happiness is returning. Yes! I can bust out my threads.
Colbourne smiling. Time to put on something other than black.
Yes.
And she looks amazing in colour, by the way. It's like she really pops. That's why I'm also scared that she's Georgiana's mother, because I'm like, that's a similar vibe. They both look fantastic.
God, they better not. They just better not.
I just in general loved how everyone looked. One thing I didn't like was that we got another white wedding dress. I'm so tired, y'all. I'm so tired.
It's like they didn't happen until later.
If I was designing costumes and I was like, oh, I'm being given a wedding in, I would be like, oh, what a great opportunity this is for me to pick a dress that isn't white.
Yes. I
can go to town and make it really memorable and lovely, but not white. But no, they just go, look at this nighty looking white dress. And they stick it on the actress. And we all have to just pretend that was a thing that happened.
Oh, God. Yeah.
I'm so tired. The aesthetic of that wedding was a mess. I'm sorry. I know that they're farmers, but why did his brown jacket not fit him? Yeah.
It's like, okay, it's been 2 months. You could work this out. You don't have, since you've only worn a soldier's uniform for over 10 years, you've had 2 months to kind of sort out civilian clothes.
At least for your wedding day.
Especially for your wedding day. I mean, come on, man.
I was disappointed. I was like, is he not attractive when he's not in a uniform? Is that what this is? But I don't think that's true. That man is very attractive.
Is very attractive.
I just don't think they did not fit his jacket to his body. He looked weird.
No.
Oh God. And then also, they put Rose Williams in this really weird frumpy white dress. I was like, why is everyone wearing white at this wedding? The bride wouldn't have been wearing white, let alone all of the guests. What the fuck?
Yeah.
Not a fan.
No. Performer of the episode.
Rose Williams, for sure.
Yes, definitely. She wins. That enough at the end was just so powerful. But she's just been fantastic the entire season. But she did really well this time around. I also have to give it to the actor that played Charles, because he loves her. He loves her.
Who's Charles?
Charles Lockhart.
Oh. Okay.
Yeah. The cousin. The cousin.
I told you, ever since I got the concussion, my memory has been terrible. Oh, we should keep that in for the lols. I was just like, who's Charles?
Yeah, I mean,
No, but yeah, I agree. He's been sensational this entire season. And when you think about how...
Yeah, he has.
On the page, his role must have been absolutely tiny. But he manages to always inject so much into his performance, even though I don't think it really made sense. His character arc was insane.
Yep.
It was like, you love her, blah, 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 you're evil! Bye-bye now.
Okay, how many Antigua black pineapples out of 5?
3?
Oh, 3?
Maybe, no, or maybe lower. I don't know. Michelle, give your answer so that I can...
My answer, when we first did the recording, was 2.5. And I stuck to a pretty firm 2.5. since rewatching it, I'm going to bump it up to a 3.
Okay, then I can stay firm in my 3. Okay.
Yes.
Good. It's very clear that I don't even remember who Charles is, so I need
Oh, God.
I need you to back me up on this. Okay.
Yes. So, yeah, 3.
I think, like, I haven't given a mark below a 5 this entire season.
So, this is telling.
This is telling. We were disappointed. But I sort of saw this coming. Remember in the second episode, I was like, oh, I like second episodes. It's before the disappointment hits. This was really where the disappointment hit.
Yes.
Like, oh, this didn't go the way I saw it going.
Yeah. And honestly, I mean, the reason why the 3 for me was just because they tried to accomplish way too many things within the space of time they had for this episode. And that, honestly, if it had been stretched out, you know, even across 2 episodes,
it would have been better.
You know, the rating would have been much higher. It was just too damn much.
An extended episode, like an hour and a half episode.
Yeah.
Just like, because it felt like you never had any time to sit with the conclusions of storylines. It would just be like, okay, Esther's got the baby, move on to Charlotte and Colbourne. And you're like, oh.
And it all seemed to happen in the space of an afternoon.
Yeah.
You know? And that is just not realistic.
And it's the conclusion of the storyline. You have to go out with a bang, not with the expected plot points.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah, you know, and just like checking them off, you know, ticking boxes, you know, the entire time. But, okay.
We're gonna get hated on. People love this episode.
I know.
People loved it. Time for postcards from Sanditon. Okay, dearest podcasters, it's been so fun watching Sanditon again and listening to you two ladies. I haven't written in a while because I was going to have a hard time not spoiling things. I think there may have been some swearing, yelling, throwing, or other entirely understandable behaviours when you watch Series 2, finally. I can't wait to hear your reactions. I hope that our trauma has been your entertainment. Here's my take on the Series 2 Whirlwind final episode. It seemed like every scene was giving me whiplash. The biggest shocker was the Charles Lockhart is a con artist reveal. I didn't see that coming, and even watching it the second time, I didn't think there were any hints. It was kind of painful to listen to you guys ship them, knowing how it would end.
Yeah.
I can understand. It seems almost crueler than the season 1 Charlotte-Sidney ending. At least that was kind of unique. In the end, this is very similar to Georgiana's story in the first season. How will she ever trust a man again?
Seriously.
The most bittersweet is the Esther storyline. I guess it's a happy ending for her, but she is one of my favourite characters with the best one-liners and great banter with Lady Denham. I'll miss her the most. Michelle called it. Clara did save the day in the end and redeemed herself from season 1. I always found Clara more sympathetic than Edward, though. He has to be the worst in this show. I really don't want him back for next season, especially without Esther to put him in his place. It sounds like it might just be a torture fest with Lady Denham, and I don't need that. I agree with you guys that the whole hysteria thing was very rushed and again seemed like a lazy writing. I do appreciate your hysteria history though. I had no idea it had been around since 1900 BC.
Yeah.
I enjoyed all the poldark timeline problems you guys pointed out. One that's bugging me is that Clara seems to be pregnant for more than 9 months. She and Edward did the floor gymnastics in the late summer, and she was still pregnant the next summer, I guess. We try not to think too much about it.
No.
What to say about the Colbourne cliffhanger? The first time I watched it, I was confusing, but the second time it made more sense why they both acted the way they did. It's hard to say I liked it, but without some kind of conflict, we wouldn't have much to look forward to in Series 3. So I'm okay with it. It gives more depth to Colbourne for us to figure out in Series 3. Also, he has to act fast if he's going to stop Charlotte from marrying Ralph, unless they kill off Ralph. No more killing off characters, okay?
Hey, farming accidents are real, so,
Another thing to look forward to is the Georgiana's mother is alive reveal. That girl needs a happy reunion. Also, maybe therapy, because this is piling on shit for her. Thanks for all you do. I'm looking forward to any content you guys come up with. Your dedicated listener, Carol from Connecticut.
Aw, thanks,
Hey,
Carol.
I was wondering where Carol was, and it turns out she just didn't want to spoil us. Thank you.
We appreciate it. Thank you. Hello, ladies. I've enjoyed your Sanditon recaps. I'm really looking forward to your reaction to the final episode because I know what is coming. Charles and Georgiana. I agree with you that Georgiana's best moments were in this season when she got less whiny and started to let her hair down and be herself. I actually started to appreciate her as a character and would like to see more of her like this. Charles, though, I have not liked since the beginning, and I didn't enjoy scenes between them, except for the growth it gave to Georgiana. I always felt he was totally fake, and their interactions as a couple felt forced. I enjoyed your analysis of the characters, but never saw the chemistry between them that you did. It could be because I just disliked him from the start and didn't trust him any more than I trusted Colonel Lennox. I hope he is gone for good, and someone truly worthy of Georgiana, not Otis either, comes in next season. Yes.
Bye,
Alison.
Otis. I'm still a hater.
Oh, yeah. Allison, you will probably like this one. I read a great recap a while back where the author had dubbed her Hurricane Haywood, and that name is stuck in my head. Seemed so fitting. Yeah. Alison and Fraser. They were my favorite ship, but I feel like I missed part of the story at the beginning because I never saw him say, do, or otherwise appear coarse, and I never understood how Alison saw him that way and was prejudiced against him. Yup. What did I miss?
Can we talk about that? What the fuck is Alison on?
I don't know. Is she just thinking that she is looking for the sweet romantic lead, i.e. Carter, the puppy face boy? I don't know.
It doesn't make no sense. Did
No,
we miss
it does
a scene?
not.
Do you think they cut a scene? Is that probably it?
I don't know. Maybe they did. What did I miss that set up her interpretation of him like that? Yes, we want to know too. I know they were just looking for a convenient hurdle for them, but it seemed unjustified when he seemed just as young and handsome as Carter. I like them, I think, because I like Fraser as a character so much. I feel like we may not see them again next season now that they have gone off to the farm together. While I was pleased they resolved their issues, I felt disappointed.
Sorry, when you said that reminded me last week when we both thought that sounded like they died. They've been
Yes.
They've been shipped off to the farm.
Yes, off to the farm.
With where all the dogs go.
Exactly. Oh, God. While I was pleased they resolved their issues, I felt disappointed in the end of their story. It was a complete, quick about-face for Alison from being ready to marry Carter to now actually marrying Fraser, and without knowing anything about him at all, really, other than he likes poetry. Like the fact he'd given up his position and is a farmer when she swore she'd never be a farmer's wife. I mean, how did she not know that? But anyway, it seems like their courtship could have actually been fleshed out a bit more before they said I do, and it's one of those situations where I feel like a happy marriage is not a guarantee for them. Yeah. Maybe it's just me, but that weird, totally fake laugh, giggle, whatever it was that she does when he says he's a farmer sounded so false to me that it kind of made me uncomfortable for him. I wonder what... I wonder what kind of future they will have when the honeymoon phase wears off and she realizes that she went from I'm never being a farmer's wife to jumping into a marriage with one that she just met and only knew he was a farmer for like 5 minutes before the wedding. How long before she is disillusioned at the reality of her decision and becomes a shrewish wife to poor Fraser? Or is she so desperate for a man to give her an identity that she's just going to absorb the identity of whoever asks and writes her a poem just to be content? Oh my God, this is awesome.
Go in.
Go in. See, I don't know what I would have picked for them, but I didn't like the turn it took at the end. I would have liked to see more time before the wedding actually happened, and this whole farming thing out of nowhere was weird. But I did enjoy the parallel to the beginning of the season. There was an earlier scene where she is at the window and excited by a red coat, thinking it's Carter, and then disappointed that it's Fraser. Then in this episode, by contrast, she's thrilled to see the red coat approaching and knowing it is now Fraser. And I really did love their moments together before he came back to propose. They are really sweet, and I just hope it's not a case of buyer's remorse for either of them later. Bravo! Bravo! That was brilliant. Esther. I loved that in the end, the women looked out for each other, and those moments in the final episode or two between Esther and Clara were some of the best memories of the season. I actually liked Clara by the end and was super pleased to learn that she does have a heart in there somewhere. Clara's heart grew 2 sizes larger, I think. I do, however, feel like Esther needs Babington with her to make another story arc for her worthwhile. So without him in the picture next season, I see why they don't have much more for her. Well, and the fact that she's not coming back either.
I mean, what's she going to do? Like, tote a baby around in all her scenes?
I know, right? I didn't love the whole idea of him sending her off alone anyways all these months. It feels very out of character for him with how much he worshipped her to send her away and not be with her for months when she would have needed him the most. Plus, him not storming into Sanditon to find out why the hell she's gone radio silent was my biggest disappointment. Yes! I know it was because the actor wasn't available, but it should have happened. Because that's what Babington would have done. Dang it. She goes on to say, it was also unclear what the heck is up with Esther and baby George at the end. Is she going to pass him off as her own? God, I hope not. Or is she just going to show up on Babington's doorstep with a baby and be like, surprise, hon, we're adopting my creepy brother's bastard love child. Isn't he cute? It's just weird. What could possibly go wrong? They crammed way too many stories into the season, yes, and wrapped them up way too fast. Double yes. I hope next season is not going to be all about Charlotte and Georgiana brooding and everyone else taking a hike. And on a final note, Arthur is just the best. Yes! Have a lovely week, ladies. Tara. Thank you, Tara.
Thank you, Tara. I also love that you pointed out the only thing that Fraser and Alison have in common is their love of poetry.
Yeah.
It'd be like if I married someone because they liked the same shows as me. Just like, okay.
Yeah, that's nice, but there's gotta be some more.
Yeah. Subject line for the next one was, I'm exhausted! Same. My heart was slapped so hard when Esther forgives Clara and highlights the sheer horridness of Edward. Leo confronts Lennox and literally shamed him for being the cad that he is. Captain Fraser comes to his senses. Cuteness overload. But then the series revs it up with Georgiana's discovering Lockhart's true tensions and her mother is alive. I mean, my heart broke when she shed those tears for the heartache of her life. But no, it's not done yet. We think it's all going well for Charlotte, finally, because the girls put up with some crap until now. Our heroine with Colbourne in a scene tantamount to the modern-day Rachel and Ross dilemma. He takes it back when he shows his real feelings, then tells Charlotte he can't have her in his house. Oh my god. Then the final straw when Charlotte says enough and cries.
Yes.
Cry emoji, cry emoji, cry emoji.
Yeah.
That's it. My heart cracked into pieces.
Mm-hmm.
I'll say they have really set up for next series. Well, that's all I have to say because I need to go recline in my chaise lounge to recover. Ciao, Maria from Perth, Western Australia, again.
Thank you, Maria.
Thank you, Maria. I too am exhausted.
Yes. Hi, Michelle and Rita. Thanks for letting us come on this journey with you for Sanditon Season 2. It's been fun. I can't wait for your take on Season 3. One note from last week. I know everyone is hung up on the age difference between Augusta and Leo. For me, Augusta needs to be older as a plot device so she can be out in society. Leo needs to be younger as a way for Charlotte to start and connect with the family. If the girls were the same age, then it might be difficult for Charlotte to connect with the girls.
We agree. Don't make them mother's twins then. Don't make them
they can't.
twins.
Yeah. That was the failure. Episode 6 is amazing. I believe it's the best of the season. Even if it did not give me the outcome I wanted. I was most surprised about Charles being the one suing for the fortune in Antigua. I didn't trust him, but I didn't think it was him. So happy Alison and Fraser got together. Such a cute proposal. And that Esther gets her happily ever after. My heart breaks for Georgiana. When she received the necklace, I started crying. It will be a really exciting storyline for season 3. And I hope Georgiana still finds love that is worthy of her. Yes. Charlotte and Colbourne. The scenes with Leo and Lennox at the camp with the two of them were amazing. And I love that father-daughter moment. Cry.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, that was sweet.
Cute.
But that last scene between Charlotte and Colbourne got to my soul. Rose and Ben in this scene is a masterclass in acting. I know these characters will be together in the end of season 3, but I'm excited for the journey. Overall, it was such a fabulous season, a great continuation of the story. Best, Eve.
Thanks for coming on this ride, Eve, and we hope we didn't scare you off with how much we screamed this episode.
How challenging we found this episode to be, yes.
Well, we were never going to like it given what they did to poor Charles.
Yes. Cousins.
We're okay. We will recover. Okay.
Okay.
Hello, Michelle and Rita. Firstly, I'd like to start by saying I absolutely love your podcast. I found you through Bridgerton and continue to listen through Sanditon. I find your discussions witty and informative, and you regularly make me laugh out loud. I'm also a Bridgerton book reader, having read the first 4 before I watched the show. And I've actually watched Poldark, but must admit I cannot summon up the courage to watch alongside your podcast. Once through was trial enough.
We understand.
I would say watch the 70s version, though. We have commentary tracks, which make... Like, we had no idea what was going on in that show, but... We had fun.
It was fun.
We sang Phil Collins songs while John was on screen.
It was fun.
And then Sting's wife shows up, and we're like screaming about that. It was a fun time.
Oh yeah.
Okay, they continued. I'm waiting with bated breath for your thoughts on episode 6 of Sanditon. I'm afraid it's going to break your hearts as you both loved Charles so much. And don't even get me started on Charlotte and her plans to marry the farmer. You can't even name drop Ralph! What's the respect on Ralph's
name?
Farmer. Much love. My dog nearly fell off the sofa when I yelled no at the TV. Okay. I'm very much looking forward to your thoughts on the new Persuasion film. I'm going to keep my thoughts to myself at this point, as I don't want to influence your watching. However, the wait for season 3 of Bridgerton is going to be very long and frustrating, so I thought I would draw your attention to another period Netflix series that I also absolutely loved. It's called Anne with an E and based on the Lucy Maud Montgomery novel, Anne of Green Gables. It's a wonderful adaptation and I'd love to hear your thoughts on this. If you could find the time to watch and cover this, it would be amazing, as I would love to hear your thoughts, especially from the second series onwards, when they tackle the integration of a Trinidadian into the small community of Avonlea Parish, my love! Okay. It also tackles issues of sexuality, women's rights in a really accessible way. It's actually the best thing ever. The cast is wonderful, and the cinematography and music stunning. Whether you cover this or not, I will continue to be a loyal listener. Your podcasts are a very welcome companion to my dog walks and allotment time. Take care. Thank you for all the joy you've brought me. Kind regards, Sarah from the Pennines in North England.
Oh, thank you, Sarah.
Thank you, Sarah. Oh my God, Michelle, have you watched Anne with an E yet?
I started it.
Oh my God.
And, I haven't finished it, but I enjoyed
How many
the episodes.
in did you get?
I think I got into like at least 6.
Ooh. So you met my one true love. Well, actually, no, Bash is my one true love, but you wouldn't have met him till season 2. My second one true love of that kid that
But what I saw, I really enjoyed. And so, I would not be opposed to doing something with Anne of Green Gables. Obviously, we do need to do the new Persuasion. We were talking about that, when the news first came out about it. So, I look forward to us doing that soon. Let's definitely put Anne with an E on the list during our Bridgerton drought.
It's such a good adaptation, and I think we would have a lot to discuss because I think the way they've tackled it is so different to how we usually see in adaptations where they take things out. This is a case where they added in extra layers that weren't there. So it would be just like a fun discussion. So I'm definitely, I'll put it onto a very long list of suggestions.
Okay. And I have never read the novel, so it would be another one of those where, if you've read the novel and I haven't, again, we can have those kind of conversations like we do with Bridgerton.
Though the thing is, the first 3 seasons only really covered one book.
Oh, okay.
And there's like 20 books or something ridiculous.
Oh, God. Okay, yeah.
So you would literally only have to read the first book to be up to date.
Well, that's easy enough to do. But anyway, yeah, let's definitely put this on the list. As you said, the very long list.
The very long list. We're going to be busy.
I don't even know what's on the list anymore these days, but anyway.
It's a Mr. Malcolm's list. It's
God, yes.
Wait. Yeah, and then Anne Boleyn, and then somebody suggested Vanity Fair, which I think we should do because...
Yeah, okay. Anyhow. Season 3! Yes.
And now, a release date for season 3 has not yet been confirmed, but we do know that it'll air in early 2023 on BritBox UK and PBS Masterpiece in the US. Rumour is that it might be January, so...
Ooh, awesome.
That gives me something to look forward to in 2023. Yes. Last week we watched the teaser trailer together for the first time, and it was like, oh, look at this thing we've never seen before, we can watch it together. So our reactions to this were better last week. But my memory's poor, so let's just click on the teaser trailer, watch it together, discuss what we think, and pretend like you haven't seen it before.
Okay.
Wait, mine's still buffering. It's 14 seconds.
Okay, I just had to pause it real quick because mine buffered like in the blink of an eye. So, okay, I'm ready to hit play.
Damn you and your superior Seattle internet speeds.
Oh, gosh. Okay, I'm ready to click. So, 1, 2, 3.
Ooh, it's Ralph.
Ooh,
it's Augusta in a feather. Oh my God, it's already over. It's already over. Okay.
Oh, God. Okay, that was way too fast. That teaser.
That was technically a teaser, yes. That teased.
Yeah, it needed to be like maybe 5 seconds longer. That was just a wait, what?
That was like 3 shots. That was Charlotte and Ralph entering what I assume is the assembly rooms.
Are you sure it was Charlotte and Ralph, or was it Colbourne and
No, that was definitely Charlotte's hair, because Augusta has that feather. There's no feather in this. I'm rewatching it again. And then Augusta has her hair down.
Oh, makes it okay.
Feather in it.
Okay. All right. I just rewatched it again. So, okay.
That cloak look. I'm getting Charlotte vibes from the back of the neck.
Yeah, definitely. Oh gosh, that'll be fun. So I wonder what brings Colbourne back to Sanditon.
I wonder if Georgiana invites him to her birthday party to try and end this engagement. You cannot marry Ralph. Let me bring your ex over.
Oh gosh, that would be great.
And the voiceover was of little Leo, wasn't it? Wait, let's listen to it again. I'm doing like forensic analysis. Yeah, that's Leo's voice. It's too cute to me.
Yeah, that's Leo. Oh
So-
God, Colbourne looks so hot.
I know.
God damn.
But I also love that Augusta's a lady now. Like, she's like... I'm the Augusta stan. I want to see her thrive in society, because she deserves to. Though I don't love how her hair is still half up, half down.
Yeah, same here. Same here. Oh God. I keep watching it over and over again so I can watch Colbourne enter the room. Hotness! Oh my
Is she
God.
wearing a tiara?
Oh God.
It's just beaded hair. I don't know what's going on. Don't go full Bridgerton. Okay? We no tiaras.
No, I'll accept the feather. I don't know. It kind of looks like a bit of a tiara, but hopefully it's just like a beaded hair clip.
What are you looking forward to in season 3 after having seen what is essentially nothing from the necklace?
I am obviously looking forward to how they are going to resolve the Hayborn ship. Really looking forward to seeing Leo again. I wonder if, she's going to wind up having little longer hair and is looking a little bit more girlish.
I hope that he got another governess, because that girl really needs some education.
Yeah,
as well.
she does.
Charlotte wasn't teaching her shit all summer.
Very interested to see what is going to be happening over in Sanditon House.
The torture.
Let the torture begin. And of course, Georgiana. I want to see how her story concludes. And when I say that, I mean I want it to stretch over 6 episodes. We don't need it. We don't need it. It's some kind of slap bang bullshit. It's like, no.
I need Georgiana to also fall in love. It's like, yes. I'm not going to accept this, I've fallen in love with myself nonsense. No.
No. I mean, that's a good thing. It's always a good thing, but no. Girlfriend needs some love in her heart for a partner.
If everybody else on this fucking show gets a love interest except her, that will be absolute, that will be my villain origin story. I will go after Andrew Davies and I will scream at him. I will not do anything violent. Do not arrest me, Andrew Davies. This is not
what if they manage to have Arthur come around to the thought of being okay marrying her?
Oh, I would not buy it at this point.
Yeah, I mean, as much as I love seeing the two of them together, they are dear friends.
I also think, if you have enough scenes where somebody goes, no, I don't want to marry you.
Yeah.
I can't then... It's the same problem I had with the end of How I Met Your Mother, where she was like, no, I do not want to get married and have kids with you, Ted. And then they ended up with her being the stepmother, and that was it's I believed her for 11 seasons of this show, you fuckers. Anyway, I'm not bitter about that at all.
Yeah, that was hard. I would love to be able to respect Arthur's wishes.
Exactly.
Yeah.
I don't want Georgiana's happiness to be at the expense of Arthur's autonomy over what he wants in his life. That's not a happy ending for Arthur at all. That's bullshit.
Yeah. So no, don't do that. If you do that, lazy. You're being lazy.
We've put up a lot of red lines that this show is now not allowed to cross. I'm very worried that they're going to cross all of them.
Oh God.
Because we've set down expectations.
Yeah, just a few. But anyhow, guys, that's it for us. It needs to be, because 2 hours.
2 hours.
So that's all from us for season 2. We'll be back whenever season 3 airs, and we really hope you'll join us. In the meantime, we'll be filling the void with other period drama content, as you've heard. So we hope that you follow our other podcast endeavors. We highly recommend that you follow our Twitter and Instagram at In the Books Network for updates on what we are watching. And if there are any movies or shows you think we should cover, please contact us at inthebooksnetwork@gmail.com. Thank you all so much, and take care.
Bye.
Bye.
Lady Denham, Willingdon, Arthur Parker, Pineapples, Elephant, Charlotte Hayward, Bathing Machines, James Stringer, Mr. Crow, Tom Parker, Mr. Hankins, Mrs. Wheatley, Captain Fraser, Georgiana Lamb. Sanditon Regatta, Charles Lockhart, Hayrick Park, Archery, Leather Trousers, Alexander Colbourne, Captain Carter, Lord Denham, join the sugar boycott, Leo is a Leonora, Sidney Parker, goodbye. Old stringer started the fire, it just started burning, shouldn't have been working. Old stringer started the fire, there goes all Tom's money, it's a little funny. Babington, Mary Parker, Governess and Baby George, Garden Party, Cricket Match, Clara Brereton. Kidnapped, Edward Dunham, Portrait Sitting, Lady Susan, It's a Hot Air Balloon, Otis Molyneux. Augusta, Hannibal, swimming nude if you're a dude. Mrs. Griffiths, bitter sour, both were sisters, ass milk. Willingdon, hysteria, Cornfall flowers, Dr. Fuchs, shower burns, midwife herbs, Eliza is a bitch. Old stringer started the fire, it just started burning, shouldn't have been working. Old stringer started the fire, there goes all Tom's money, it's a little funny.